Well, local voters will soon be heading back to the polls to elect a new Louisiana treasurer. Joining us today is one of the two candidates in the race, Republican candidate Dr. John Fleming. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Liz. Glad to be with you.
So welcome and congrats to making it to the runoff. For those who are not aware of your background, you're a physician, a U.S. Navy veteran, and a former Louisiana congressman in D.C. So you have quite a bit of experience, but I always ask my candidates, the first question I want to ask from them, why do you think you are better for this position as the state's treasurer compared to your Democrat opponent, Dustin Granger?
Well, Liz, you only got halfway through my resume. I also started companies in the 1980s and 90s that still employ over 350 Louisianans. I know what it is to make a payroll. Also, I served in the Trump administration for 4 years. One of my posts was I led the Economic Development Administration, which required Senate confirmation. So I know what it is to run a government agency, a large government agency. And I served in the West Wing of the White House as Deputy Chief of Staff under President Trump as well. So I think I have a very vast and huge private and public sector background that qualifies me for this position.
Your opponent says that he pointed to your voting years ago against funding for New York Hurricane Sandy victims as one of the reasons you should be disqualified from running for treasurer. What do you say to that?
Well, I say that's not true. I did vote for it. It came from the House. We voted out $23 billion, which covered all of the losses. However, it bounced back from the Senate with an additional $37 billion, unrelated to Hurricane Sandy or any hurricane. It was all a bunch of pet projects that members had tagged on to it, which is all too common. The people of this country, and especially in Louisiana, are sick and tired of politicians who use a crisis in order to spend more taxpayer money unreasonably.
One of the big issues, your Democrat opponent says he supports diversifying and using state funds, including using state funds as treasurer, to make investments based for social and environmental reasons, known as ESG. He says they are good investments. Where do you stand on this and using state tax dollars for those things?
Well, I believe as treasurer, I should invest the money where we get the best return. The problem with ESG is it's actually been studied. The University of Chicago did such a study looking at 20,000 Morningstar rated funds, and what they found was the best ESG return funds were worse than the worst nominal funds. So as long as a investment has good return, I'm certainly happy to look at it, but if it's not making any money for the investors, I'm certainly not going to invest taxpayer money into it.
And do you believe such investments is something that would be good for the state? Some people believe it isn't because it impacts oil and gas, but on the other hand, some people say it would work.
Well, the problem is those are investments for purposes other than the return on investment. My job as treasurer is to get the best return on investment, not to drive social policy or political ideas. That's something for the legislature and the governor to do. So for that reason, what matters is the return on investment, and that's precisely what I will stay with.
The treasurer also presides over the Louisiana Bond Commission that has oversight over state and local governments. Where do you see yourself focusing on that issue?
Well, again, my passion is economic development, and I love to participate in that, where investment that will, of course, revive and build up communities and also help attract private investment, which is what I did leading the Economic Development Administration, where we bring jobs and we bring population back to Louisiana where it belongs.
Candidate Dr. John Fleming, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Liz. Glad to be with you.